I'm sure most of you have heard about the Bermuda Triangle, that region in the North Atlantic where mysterious phenomenon happens, like ships disappearing, flights disappearing in mid-flight, and people gone never to be heard from again occur. But have you heard of the Texas Triangle? We'll grab some popcorn, sit back, relax, and join us as we uncover the mystery and importance of the Texas Triangle. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know all about living in College Station and the surrounding area, subscribe below, tap that bell for notifications. My name's Jeff, along with Terry and David, we make up the Schellenberger team. Whether you're looking to buy your forever home, invest in a property, or buy that second home, we're the team for you.
Our contact information is in the description box below, so feel free to reach out anytime so we can start the conversation with you about moving to College Station and the surrounding area. And remember, we've helped people just like you find the right place at the right time, right here.
So Tara, while the Bermuda Triangle is fun to think about based on all the different mysteries and myths and things like that, conspiracy theories, it's not really truly a distinct region, and it's really driven by pop culture and the media. But the Texas Triangle, that's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. So today we're going to get into talking about the Texas Triangle, the importance of the Texas Triangle, and why College Station is so important to the Texas Triangle, because we're in the epicenter of the Texas Triangle. So we've got our notes here. Don't mind us looking at the notes.
We have a lot of detailed information.
There's a lot of detailed information, but we're going to get into talking about the Texas Triangle in general. Then we're going to narrow it down and talk about the Texas Triangle specifically to College Station and to Texas A&M, and the importance of where we are in that triangle.
Yeah.
So let's dig into the first thing, the Texas Triangle facts. It's an important concept to consider for understanding the state's economic development, infrastructure dynamics, all types of things.
Yes.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is the geography and the population. So when you talk about the geography of the Texas Triangle, what exactly is that? You start
Dallas-Fort Worth.
Up at the top, Dallas-Fort Worth. Huge region when you talk about population, when you talk about businesses, land mass, all of that stuff. And if you go down one of the lines of the triangle, you hit Houston.
Right.
And all of the area around Houston and all of the importance Houston brings to the economy of Texas. Then you go across and hit Austin, San Antonio area. Again, culturally, military, business-wise, very important region. And then shoot back up to Dallas-Fort Worth. Yep. So that kind of gives you that triangle effect right here in Texas.
So, and then as far as the population is concerned, right now there are about 20 million people that live in this area, which is about 70% of Texas's population, but they expect to have 65% growth over the next 40 years.
Right.
And so they're looking at about 35 million people by 2050.
Which is
in this incredible. One area of Texas. Now, Texas is huge, and so obviously this is a large area, but as we'll show you, being in College Station, all three of these major points of the Texas Triangle are very easily accessible by car from College Station, which makes our area extremely important, and people are starting to recognize that.
Some of the key industries to understand with the Texas Triangle, it really kind of breaks into little different areas where Dallas-Fort Worth specializes more in finance and real estate development and
transportation
and some of the tech.
Right, some of the tech. Some major headquarters are there. What, American Airlines, AT&T.
Yep, ExxonMobil has a presence. I think they've moved to Houston, I'm not sure, but large headquarters for corporations. Mm-hmm. And a lot of companies have moved into the area, not only Dallas-Fort Worth, but the surrounding area like Frisco, Plano, Prosper. People are moving large chunks, if not their headquarters, to that area. So then you kind of look at Houston. What do you think of when you think of Houston?
Oil and gas.
Yep, you got the energy capital of the world, really, in Houston. So you've got the ports where there's a lot of refining and shipping. You've got the energy, you've got space, you've got NASA.
And
really.
Houston is an extremely multicultural city as well.
Yeah.
I was speaking with someone with our local economic development organization, and she had been in Houston before and said that it is extremely multicultural, one of the most multicultural cities in the country.
Right. And it's got one of the best hospitals in the world.
Yes.
People from all over the world come to MD Anderson for healthcare related things. So Houston, another important piece of the Texas Triangle.
Then we have Austin.
Yeah.
So Austin, of course, what it's called, not Silicon Valley, I know is in California.
Silicon Hills.
Silicon Hills, there we go, Silicon Hills. All of the tech industry, everybody knows Elon Musk has moved out there, moved Tesla out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of startups are in the Austin area.
Yeah.
And then going south to San Antonio, you have
a lot of military. You've got your military bases, you've got military hospitals, but you've also kind of got diversification in San Antonio where some finance companies are moving in there. And
the
also,
tourism.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. San Antonio's beautiful, and there's a lot of tourism in San Antonio with the Alamo and different missions and the Riverwalk.
So when it comes to economic output, it is a significant piece of Texas's GDP. And some are saying just that region covers 75% of the GDP.
I would believe it.
In Texas. So very important. It's a region that's ranked one of the fastest growing economic regions in the U.S. And it's been that way for years, and it's going to be that way for years to come.
Okay, so do you want to talk about how this area is connected?
Yeah, let's talk about transportation and infrastructure. So we have major highways, we have shipping lanes, we have railroad, and a lot of these shipping hubs, they are trying to create hubs where the ships will come in, you'll unload the ships onto a train or trucks and take it to a region. And a lot of these, they try to have their distribution centers right on the train tracks. So it goes from ship to train to distribution, so it can go out to the different areas with the shipping. So it makes it quicker, makes it more efficient, great for global trade. Global companies want to work with Texas on the distribution and trade piece of it.
So coming from Houston, going up to Dallas, you have I-45 connects Houston to Dallas.
Yeah.
And then I-35 connects Dallas to Austin and then San Antonio.
Yeah.
And then College Station, you can take Highway 6 to 290 or get on 105 and take that there's a new Aggie Highway that they have that connects College Station area to the northeast side of Houston, I guess. And then 290 connects Houston to Austin.
Right. And then you have I-10 down at the bottom.
I-10.
That connects Houston to
San Antonio.
San Antonio. You touched on Interstate 35. It actually splits and goes through Dallas and Fort Worth and then comes back together.
Right.
So major transportation, things like that. When you talk about the airports, we'll talk about the distance College Station is from major international airports, but you've got Dallas-Fort Worth, take you all over the world.
DFW.
You've got IAH, which is the Houston Intercontinental George Bush.
There's another smaller airport called Hobby Airport in Houston, and it's a large airport too, but it is on the southern side.
Right.
And so it would take you a lot longer to get there. So IAH is the one people use.
Yeah. And then you've got Austin Bergstrom, which is about the same distance as the Houston IAH airport, but it services the Austin area and the surrounding areas.
And it's international as well. And then I wanted to mention that living in College Station with so many people from other areas who live here and then with the student population, there's a shuttle that routinely runs from our local airport to IAH in Houston. And so it makes it very convenient for people to just hop on that shuttle, get down to Houston, take their flight anywhere in the world and have an easy way to get back. And
then you talk about the ports and rails. We already talked about that, but major shipping, not only for oil and gas, but also for container ships, bringing in goods from all over the world. And so you've got the Port of Houston. It's one of the busiest ports in the U.S. and the largest in the Gulf of Mexico. And then you've got the railways that connect the ports up to everything else. And you've got the major rail lines, the BNSF. You've got Union Pacific.
Oh, Union,
so
yeah.
again, those are major for shipping. It'll take you to the shipping ports. So you go from port train to truck.
Yeah. Okay. So up next, we'll be talking about some research and education, research and education in the Texas Triangle. Okay. So the Texas Triangle is home to several top universities and research centers. So of course, here in College Station, we have Texas A&M University, which has a lot of research in the areas of agriculture, engineering, energy,
and business.
And also, I think of like the medical is really growing. I mean, with the vet school is huge and has been for a long time, but there's a medical school here now and it's growing a lot as well.
Right. And then not only the main campus, but you've got the
Rellis campus.
Which is all about innovation and research.
And a lot of collaborative efforts between Rellis campus, Texas A&M, and the government and nonprofits.
And Blinn College.
Yes, and Blinn College as well.
Yeah. And Blinn College gets more into workforce development. So we need skilled labor, and Blinn College has focused on a lot of that.
They have a lot of programs, like nursing program that is very significant. It's well known.
Yeah. Then you get over to Austin. There's
with UT.
Yeah, University of Texas in Austin. They're known for
technology, business, and law. Are three that they are really known for. Also,
they are over in the Austin area. So you've got the tech hub, you've got innovation, and they work on a lot of venture capital for startups and things like that with UT Austin.
Right.
Then you get over kind of into the Houston area. You've got Rice, which is very well known.
Right. I did not realize that they were known for their research in science and engineering and business. I did not. Well, I guess I just didn't know what they focused on at all. I knew that Rice was a top tier private university, and it's beautiful, by the way, if you're in the area. But I just didn't know what kind of research they did. So the sciences, and I think those sciences kind of tie into some of the medical with MD Anderson and things like that. You've got the University of Houston, which is also plays a major role in higher education. They actually have a great restaurant hotel. You're kind of seeing a theme. A lot of these universities are about innovation, research. And then Texas State. And I think with all of these universities, because of so much growth that we're experiencing in this area in the Texas Triangle, there's a lot of collaboration that each of them have with different technologies.
And that's just a sampling. There are a lot of universities, even in the Texas Triangle, that we haven't named. Really, education opportunities, research and innovation, business development, a lot of key factors for the universities in Texas.
And just developing the workforce. There's a lot of focus on that as well.
Yeah, and really a lot of focus on skilled labor. Back in the day, they'd call it blue collar. So we talked about Blinn. They have programs for the different skilled labor programs. You know, welders are in need.
Electricians, plumbers, nurses.
So
dental assistants.
Which I think is great for these education universities and colleges to put a better focus on that type of thing, because it's
needed.
It's a skill that's needed.
Yes, it has a lot of value, and it's desperately needed to not just focus on one type of education.
The first thing that kind of comes to my mind is there are a lot of people out there looking to start a business, and we'll get into this a little bit more, or to relocate a business. So if you have those type of innovation, research, workforce development, all that area in kind of centralized, what better place than
to find
right around here in the
people and support to start your business. Very true.
So we'll get into talking about some of the collaboration efforts of some of these different cities next. All right, so to wrap up the overall view of the Texas Triangle, what it is, what it's all about, the region that it's in, how it's connected, it's important to talk about collaboration between the different cities, between the different organizations that these cities have, on working together to help promote Texas.
And their region, their area.
And the region, yeah.
And so the way that happens in several areas, so here in the Brazos Valley, we have the Greater Brazos Partnership, which is a partnership between 5 of the 7 counties that make up the Brazos Valley. And they are ripping and roaring. I mean, they are doing a great job. They work together to bring industry to this area.
Right.
And they're getting after it. So what that means is rather than College Station on its own, or Bryan on its own, or even Brazos County on its own, networking and developing relationships with industry to bring them to this area, because then you stimulate the local economy. They're thinking about it on a larger scale. They're looking at the entire Brazos region area and then working together with those other counties to bring industry in. Because we do have a lot of land, and I've heard that a lot of these companies, they want these super sites, so it's like 1,000 acres or more that they're wanting to buy. We have land.
Yeah.
And so that is what they're doing in our area. And then you have a similar type of organization in the Houston area for Houston and Galveston, and then there's also one in the Dallas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Council of Governments there.
Yeah.
And so each of those organizations work to bring industry to their region. And part of what makes that exciting is that through that collaborative effort, it's more organized. You can do better planning, more controlled growth, planning future road systems. It really is beneficial to have these collaborations. And we have a very strong one now in Brazos County that is drawing a lot of attention.
A lot of coordination when it comes to even talking about the issues of transportation, talking about economic development and
water. Water is a
environmental
huge
effects.
Water is a huge issue in Texas right now, and so that's something that gets discussed.
So it's better to work together than against each other, and I give these different organizations credit for looking at the bigger picture and keeping Texas itself in mind.
You don't want to lose your identity or your values when growing, and so I appreciate the effort as well.
Yeah. So next we're going to talk about the Texas Triangle, and more specifically how it affects College Station, and then we'll get into A&M within College Station. All right, so we're getting more specific, talking about the Epicenter, the Bryan College Station area, and Texas A&M within that epicenter. And want to kind of give you an idea of when we're talking about the epicenter or the center of the triangle, that being College Station, let's talk about some distances and why it's really called the epicenter and how far or close College Station is to these different cities, airports, and regions.
Yeah. So it's furthest from Dallas-Fort Worth, about 180 miles. That's the furthest one.
Yeah, so you're talking about a 3-hour drive, give or take, traffic and all that fun stuff.
Houston's about 95 miles.
Right.
I mean, in an hour and a half, you can be dead center in the middle of Houston from College Station.
Just time it out, right?
Yeah, and no wrecks, but it happens.
Yeah. So, and Houston's a large area. We're talking kind of the center of Houston. If you're wanting to go further, you're going a little further.
Right.
San Antonio, about the same as Dallas, about 140 miles, so 2.5 to 3 hour drive.
The traffic going to San Antonio seems to be a little more difficult than...
It seems to me that it's more direct to get to Houston and the DFW area. They're building infrastructure to make it easier to get from College Station to Austin and San Antonio.
They are.
Austin's about 100 miles. And we talked about the airports, and those airports, they're really actually between
they're pretty easy to get to.
Bergstrom and IAH, they're about the same mileage.
Yes, and then I know outside of Austin, I don't remember how long ago, but they developed the toll road system that made it much faster to get to the airport.
Right. You're talking just over 100 miles or give or take to either one of those airports. And then for DFW, we have Easterwood Airport here in the Bryan College Station area, and it's serviced by American Airlines. American Airlines will take you up to DFW and take you anywhere in the world.
It's really handy.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But those little flights, oh my gosh, the turbulence on those little planes, whew, that could be bad.
It's getting better. It's getting better. So we've talked about the airports. We got into the highways. So again, you've got Interstate 45 from Houston to Dallas. You've got I-35, which connects both Dallas and Fort Worth. Takes you through Waco, through Austin, down to San Antonio. You've got I-10 from San Antonio over to Houston, and then you've got kind of your zigzag of different highways. So airports, roadways, and then you've got your rail that is, right now, it's for shipping and things like that, but there's even talk
passenger.
Yeah,
have
about
some passenger rail.
Speed train, or whatever
the
they call
high-speed
it.
train or something.
Train,
yes.
That they're talking about connecting
Houston to
Dallas with only one stop, and that stop is right outside Bryan College Station.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So that's kind of talking about for College Station. Now let's get into a little further into the Epicenter and talk about Texas A&M and its importance to the Texas Triangle. All right, so let's dig into Texas A&M's effect on the Texas Triangle when it comes to contributing to the economy, contributing to employment, and also the ripple effect it has with other businesses. So you begin to talk about the regional employment hub. Texas A&M is one of the largest employers in the state of Texas.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the A&M system, you not only have the main campus here in Bryan College Station, but it's a system of other colleges and universities throughout the state. And with thousands of faculty, with thousands of staff and researchers, A&M not only brings a direct economic impact to the state of Texas, but it also has a ripple effect for all kinds of different businesses, from research to support. So you've got construction companies who are building infrastructure, building buildings, things like that. You've got the third-party businesses like restaurants and hotels and just different kinds of small mom-and-pop businesses who are somewhat dependent on not only the student population, but also when it comes to people coming down to visit A&M and things like that. From construction, you've got a critical role for local businesses, but also research and the arm that Texas A&M has when it comes to growth for the state of Texas.
Right. And they also really contribute to innovation. So A&M is a major driver of innovation in several different fields, like agriculture, energy, engineering, biotechnology. And so all of the research it does and its efforts for commercializing different products and discoveries.
And you talk about the Aggie Network, which is one of the largest networks in the world when it comes to alumni. Aggies love to work with Aggies. So you've got companies that have been formed and created by people who were here at A&M and really expanded on from there. So.
Yeah, a lot of collaboration with startups that people might have in the Austin area, Houston area.
And they'll get into funding. If you have a great idea that you need funding, kind of like almost a Shark Tank effect, A&M has people who work with people to start up companies and things like that.
And they also have close ties to the energy sector. So as far as working with the oil and gas industry in the Houston area, they play a big role in advancing energy technologies as well.
All right, so as you can imagine, Texas A&M produces a lot of graduates who go on to be successful business leaders in different sectors, such as energy, such as technology, law, and agriculture, and several other areas. So A&M is a key component when it comes to the future leadership of people in Texas, not only for businesses, but also government and innovation. The Aggie Network that we talked about just spreads out throughout the Texas Triangle. and it also spreads out through the world. So A&M takes pride in its skilled students, graduates.
And so one of the things A&M offers is professional development and executive education.
Right.
So through several of the different schools at A&M, like Mays Business School, the Engineering School, I know also the Bush School of Public Administration, they offer programs for executives, and also some of their master's programs are geared toward people going out into the workforce and working in industry. And so it really provides a good place for those people to get that elevated level of education, and then use that Aggie network with networking. And a lot of them stay in Texas, but then they go out to these other areas, likely, or stay here. And it really helps the growth and development of their own education, also their industry.
It fosters a lot of entrepreneurialism, and A&M likes to foster the people who want to be entrepreneurs, who want to come up with great innovation, great ideas for businesses and things like that. So you get into McFerrin, the Center for Entrepreneurship. You've got the Texas A&M Innovation Lab, which is kind of like what we were talking about, the Shark Tank and things like that.
Yeah.
We talk about the AgriLife Research Center. A lot of research by students and grad students to better improve ag, not only in Texas, but also in the area. So by offering funding, mentorship, and collaborative spaces, Texas A&M really helps nurture these startups. Big collaboration when it comes to technology, energy, and healthcare. Particular effect on the Texas Triangle has been huge.
And then business partnerships and investment. So they also work to connect businesses with venture capital and investors so that they can help foster the growth of those startups.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on with A&M in the Epicenter, A&M's effect on College Station, and A&M's effect on the greater Texas Triangle itself. And that goes global. You talk about global connectivity and economic clout, a lot of international research collaboration, a lot of trade and international business. So a lot going on with the Texas Triangle.
Yes.
So we'll get into what does that mean for you specifically as a home buyer.
Right, why would we be talking about this as realtors?
Right, as an investor or as a business owner. So let's get into that. So there's so much more we could really talk about, and I hope you guys have held on to understand a little more about our video here and talking about the Texas Triangle. But we want to kind of wrap this up and talk about what does that mean for you, the viewer, whether you're looking to buy a home, you're looking to invest in property, a lot of investors in the Bryan-College Station area, or if you're a business owner, or you want to start a business, or you have a major business you're looking at maybe moving to Texas, can really be a benefit by coming here to the Bryan-College Station area. So when it comes to homeownership, lots of growth, lots of new neighborhoods. And if you look at affordability, you can still find affordable housing here in the Bryan-College Station area, especially when you're comparing it to some of the larger cities. But it also brings a quality of life. We are still kind of understood as being a college town.
And having a small town feel.
Right.
We really do. And remember, College Station itself is landlocked. And so that has its own inherent set of value just because they are quickly running out of land to build on. And so that's going to cause those property values to skyrocket. And then just in this general area, I mean, the entire Brazos County, I feel like as far as investment property to rent to students, either have for your own student, a lot of people will buy their first piece of investment property here for their own student who's going to Texas A&M or Blinn, and then they'll hang on to it and rent it out because you always have people looking. I mean, it's a chaotic rush in the fall of students because they will, these apartment complexes, and the way the game is played here in general is that in September and October, they are getting people to commit for the following fall, whether or not they're going to stay in their home or apartment or leave. And so that's when students start looking as early as September and October, looking for the next fall. And then as early as November, it's basically the leftovers are put out publicly, like on the MLS for realtors who would be representing a buyer or a renter. That happens in November. And so there's a lot of demand for this whole process to get pushed up almost an entire year looking for a place to rent.
You know, the first thing you think of when you think about investing, it is the housing. So a lot of investors who invest in housing, not only student housing, but also single family and townhouse, condo, apartment. But you get into investment into companies, like we've covered Texas A&M and all the innovation, all the support. Who wouldn't want to invest and use that Aggie network, use the skilled workforce that comes out of being a graduate of Texas A&M? So you've got that whole investment side, and then you've got the business side. We talked about the different organizations that support businesses who want to start up and also want to move here. And we have those areas that you could bring a business too.
Oh, you mean like the Brazos Valley Partnership?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that the right name? I always forget the name of it. Is that the right name of it?
Right. So
Greater Brazos Partnership. I'm never going to get this right. The Greater Brazos Partnership.
Again, this is just kind of the wrap up. Great opportunity to reach out to us to talk about housing in Bryan College Station. If you're wanting that forever home, if you're wanting to invest, if you're wanting to bring a business, we can help you get those things going and get you invested. And I hope you like the video. We would love to hear your comments on the video and what you would like to hear from us next. We want to bring you a quality product, and any kind of feedback you could give us. And subscribe. It helps us to promote our channel when you subscribe. So,
please subscribe.
Yeah,
and leave comments. Let us know what you think about this video and what else you'd like to see.
Yeah, so if you're looking to start here in the Bryan College Station to start the conversation about getting to College Station and the surrounding area, reach out to us. Don't hesitate. We've helped people just like you find the right place at the right time.
Right here.